Hey, hi guys, welcome to INSECTECHS. I'm Hping3 and in the previous class you have learned about a ping utility and also a cping Colasoft ping tool, which is a graphical software having a ping functionality or ping features where you can ping multiple IP addresses or multiple devices at the same time. And in this class we are going to learn Hping. So what is Hping? Hping is open source packet generator and it is analyzing TCP IP protocols, and it is used for security auditing and penetration testing, and it is a very common tool for administrators for penetration testing to find out or to bypass the firewalls by actually crafting the packet or generating the packet. And some common features of this Hping tool is like network scanning. So this tool can be used for port scanning and identify the open ports on a target machine or the entire range of network, and also for firewall testing, as said earlier ago, to test the effectiveness of firewalls by sending custom packets or crafted packets. Then you can use the traceroute option in Hping to perform a traceroute function to reach the destination. And next, it can be used for ping sweeping. Say for example, if you have a network of a wide range of, then you can actually sweep the entire network to find out the live computers on the network. And finally, very important, it can be used for DDoS attacks, DDoS simulation. So this tool can be misused for simulating DDoS, that is distributed denial of service. So you should be responsible while using this tool, and ethics are really important. So as you can see, I am on my terminal or Terminator application, and we need to install this app Hping3. By default, Hping is pre-installed in Kali Linux, as you can see. So Hping3-H is an option to see all the options over here. So let me show you the command or way to install Hping3 on your Ubuntu machines. Sudo apt install Hping3, type your root password Kiran123. So it's already installed. As you can see, it comes pre-installed in Kali Linux, and as said, option H for help, V for version check, Hping3-V for version check. So the Hping version is 3.0.0 alpha 2, and as you can see, -C is a count. So you can specify how many packets you want to send while pinging. I for interval, so you can wait microseconds, x microseconds. Say for example -I, u 1000, you can wait a second for sending 10 packets. Similarly, you can wait a second after sending 100 packets, and you can even flood send as fast as possible, and you won't get replies. So you can flood the entire network or your target machine. And these are some other options that are not necessary to remember actually. So when you send a ping request, that is ICMP echo request, the default protocol is ICMP in normal pinging, but here the default is TCP, default mode is TCP. And scan option, in scan mode you can scan the port numbers, so you can specify the individual port numbers or the range and the target on which you want to see the open ports. And if you come down, spoof, using -A you can spoof the source address, or you can use the random address. If you use a rand source, you can use the random address as a source address. Then the destination could be random sometimes, but this is not generally used. And you can set the TTL value. Default is 64, and you can set your own TTL values. So we will see a couple of these options while working. So you have flags over here. In the introduction classes, you have seen about flags in the TCP headers and UDP headers, and we will discuss more about these flags in Nmap tutorials in the upcoming classes. So let me clear the screen. So as you can see, on our network we have a couple of devices on a local network. This is my router, and fconfig, this is my IP address, and we have two other devices, 192.168.29.14 and 192.168.29 and 55. So 192.168.29 and 14 is IP address of a Windows server, as you can see over here. So let me clear the screen. So let's start with the basic Hping commands. So let me type Hping3, and help is already happened, 192 168.29.14 and hit enter. So you have to give the sudo permissions, sudo, and type your root password. Hping3 no flag set, 40 place header and 0 bytes data. So what is happening? We are not getting any replies. Control C. So as you can see, 15 packets has been transmitted but 0 packets is received and 100% packet loss. So this is an error when you have a firewall installed, and that is actually blocking the TCP request. As you know, the default default mode is TCP mode, Hping3 -h. So default mode is TCP. So what you can do is you can actually send ICMP packets instead of TCP. So -ICMP. So before that, let me also try with the UDP packets, UDP, and hit enter. And of course you have no results or no responses from the Windows 2019 server. Let me hit Control C, and now let me send ICMP packets and ICMP, and as you can see we are getting responses, and as you can see you are getting the responses. Control C. So how to solve this problem? For a practicing purpose you can do this, but if you are targeting your client, he may not accept a TCP or UDP ping request. So for the demonstration of your knowledge, I am going to Windows 2019 machine over here, and config. So this is 29.14. so let me open a control panel, system security, firewall, and so let me shut down the firewall. Come to turn Windows Defender firewall on off. Click on this link over here. As you can see, turn Windows Defender firewall on or off, and turn off, and turn off. Now let me ping this server once again. Control C. What has happened? Okay, I did not press OK. As you can see, now we can actually send TCP packets. See, as you can see, we are now sending TCP packets to 192.168.29.14. No flag set, 40 headers plus, and 0 bytes data. If I hit Control C, as you can see, 12 packets transmitted and 12 received, and 0 packet loss. And if you want to specify data size, then you can use --data. This is option, and number in bytes, that is 64 for example. And if you give something like 10,000, this is called as a DOS attack. So 64. So 64 bytes of data. Control C. So 5 packets transmitted this time, and RTT, average round trip time, is 5.1 milliseconds. Let me clear the screen now. Now let me open the Fireshark application. Click on this link over here. Fireshark is starting. So you know what is a Fireshark, we have learned in the earlier classes. So let me start capturing the packets, and our IP is ifconfig. It's 192.168.29.4. okay, so I'll apply the filter. IP is equal to 192.168.29.4, and now I start capturing the packets. Start, and let me repeat the process once again, and this time I will put a flag on SYN flag. Now as you can see over here, we are capturing couple of packets. Control C. Let me stop this and maximize. Now you can actually analyze each and every packet. So this is a TCP packet we have sent, and SYN should be enabled. So come down, and destination port is 2045. We can change this port, so you can change the destination port. You can even spoof the IP address, and the timestamps over here. Flags, as you can see, SYN flag not set, reset is set, but this is not the case. We have set the SYN flag, right? So let me check once again. Okay, this is from 192.168.29.14. so let me check the packet from 192.168.29.4. now as you can see, the SYN is set. When we are receiving from the server, the SYN is not set. We are getting a reset flag. Okay, so you can use protocol dissector tool like Wireshark to analyze what kind of packets we are sending. Okay, so let me clear the screen, really clear, and let me close the Wireshark and restart it once again. Now the next command is sudo Hping3. Now C for count. C is option, small c is option to send or to specify the number of packets we want to send to the target machine. So if I say as example 20 or 40, 30 over here, and if we hit enter, so we are sending 30 packets to our target machine. So we don't need Wireshark over here. So let me stop it and let it run. So after 30 packets are sent, the Hping will stop sending packets. See, as you can see over here, 30 packets transmitted and 30 received, 0 packet loss. So now let me scan ports on a target machine, sudo Hping3, and this is the command. So I'm targeting only on port 80. So I want to check whether port 80 is open. So let me hit the Wireshark application and hit enter. And as you can see, destination port is 80. It's not source port actually. So I'm seeing that flag array is set. We have sent packets from 192.168.29.4. destination port is 80, as you can see over here. So this is the destination port we are sending to. Why did we get array flag set? We have set SYN flag, I guess. We have sent no flag sets. Okay, no flags are set and we are getting a reset flag. So let me now Control C. Let us send a SYN flag and let me start Wireshark once again. As you can see, we have port 80 is open and we are receiving now SA. Okay, since we have set a SYN flag earlier, we have not set any flag, so no flag set earlier. So we were getting a reset and acknowledgement. Now since we have set SYN flag, so we are getting SYN and acknowledgement SA, and port 80 is open, as you can see. Okay, Control C to stop it. Stop. And now let me scroll down. As you can see, 192.168.29.4, we have sent a SYN flag, and from 14 we are getting SYN and ACK SA. Okay, as you can see over here. So we see that port 80 is open. Now let me see whether port 443 is open or port 23 is open. Okay, port 23 is open. Control C. Let me send SYN flag once again. As you can see, now array is set. As you can see, array flag is returned from the server. So it means that port 23 is actually closed. When we send a SYN flag, we should expect SA, SYN and acknowledgement if port is open, but we are receiving RA. It means that port 23 is closed. So instead of checking one by one port, we can use scan command to check all the ports on a target machine. -f scan 121024, all well-known ports I'm scanning. So as you can see, all replies received and done, and I can guess that you cannot see what all ports are open. So I'll run the command once again, and now what I'll do is I'll send a SYN flag. So we can see that all these ports are open. Okay, port 80 is open, 135, 139, 443, 446, 17. So all these ports are now open. So this is how you can use scan command to scan all the ports, well-known ports or a range of ports. Now let me spoof the IP address using -a option. So let me run the Wireshark, sudo Hping3. -a is the option to spoof IP address. So let me type some random IP address like 11, 43, 40, 22 and 55 on a target machine 192.168.29.14. Okay, Even after executing the hping command, I'm sure you will not get the replies because it is a spoofed IP address. Any replies will go to the spoofed IP address but not to the hacker's machine. So Control C. So let me send SYN packets as well. -S. Let me stop the Wireshark. Now as you can see in the Wireshark, from 11:44, 22 and 55 we are sending packets to a target machine 29.14, but we are not getting the replies because any replies will be sent to the spoofed IP address but not the hacker's IP address. Okay. Instead of spoofing an IP address, let me send data packets to a target machine from n number of different IP addresses, that is from multiple locations or multiple IP addresses. So let me use rand source is a command. So rand source is an option to use RAND to send packets from multiple IP addresses. So let me run the Wireshark once again to see what is happening, and let me hit enter. Control C. A spelling mistake, RSOURCE. So as you can see, 192.168.29.14 is a destination address, and from different IP addresses. Okay, we will not get the replies. We will not get the replies because replies will be going to that particular random unknown IP address, as you can see over here. So I have not stopped hping command. So hping command is still running. Even if we set flag, we will not get the replies because replies will be going to that unknown or random IP address. So as you can see over here, 192.146.46. Let me stop the application. Stop. Let me stop the hping tool as well. Control C. So we have sent 60 packets. Let me open the Wireshark, and so these are all the different IP addresses: 182, 164, 55, 158, 192. This is my host machine. Again, this is different IP address. This is server 2019. Again, a random IP address, random IP address, random IP address, random IP address. All these packets are sending from random IP address and targeting only one IP, that is 192.168.29.14. So let me try the same command on my INSECTECHS website. And now I'll change the IP to INSECTECHS IP address, insectechs.in, and as you can see, my INSECTECHS IP address is 88.99.99.104, and as you can see over here, there are so many random IP addresses, and we are sending TCP packets. Actually, we are sending the TCP packets, okay, to this insectechs.in website, and we have not mentioned any type of data within it. Let me hit Control C, and let me stop the Wireshark application as well. Now you can see the TCP packet. These are all the TCP packets, and the destination IP addresses are INSECTECHS IP addresses, but the source IP addresses are some unknown random IP addresses. So you can use rand-source in order to send packets to a target machine from a random IP addresses, and -a option to spoof the IP address. Okay, and Control C, and let me clear the screen, close the Wireshark. So instead of scanning individual ports like port 80, port 443, or scanning certain range like from 1 to 1024, let us increment the port number with +1. Like if I'm scanning port number 21, then the next port to scan is 22, then the +1, the next port to scan is 23. And in order to perform such a detailed scan, we can increment the value of a port with +1 using the command sudo Hping3. Let me remove the random source, and let me give the target IP address, in this case 192.168.29.14 port, and instead of specifying the port number, what I will do is I'll hit ++1, so it will scan all the ports starting from 1. Okay, as you can see. Also, let me stop and hit the Wireshark. As you can see what is happening behind the screen. Start the Wireshark, and let me run the command once again. Anyway, we don't need the Wireshark, I guess, because as you can see, the destination port means in the replies it is the source port. So source port is 1, next source port is 2. So we are getting replies from 29.14. So the source port will be, our destination port is our machine's destination port is 1. However, the source port for a target machine is 1. So we are getting replies with RA flag set from source port 1, source port 2, source port 3, source port 4, and so on. So I'll get replies until I will stop getting replies until I hit Ctrl C. Okay, so this is how you can perform a detailed scan port by port, incrementing the value of a specified port. Let me hit Ctrl C. So we have sent 60 packets and received 60 packets, 0 packet loss. So we have sent packets from spoofed IP address, then packets from random IP addresses using rand-source option. Now let me actually bypass the firewall. So in order to bypass the firewall, let us check what is the status of a firewall on our server machine. So in a control panel, system security, Windows Defender firewall. So as you can see, the firewall is on, and let me minimize this machine and let me clear the screen. Now let me try to send some TCP packets, Hping3, Hping on a target machine 192.168.29.14, and we are not getting the replies because no flag is set. Ctrl C. No, let me set the flag. Even then we are unable to get the replies because we are sending a TCP packets and the firewall is blocking the TCP as well as the UDP packets. Sin flag, let me, so sorry, that is urgent flag. Ctrl C. Let me send UDP packets, and even when the UDP mode is set and we are sending UDP packets, we are not getting the replies. Ctrl C. Let me send ICMP, and we are getting the replies for ICMP packets. Ctrl C. Now what we can do is we can use F command. So what is the F command? It is a fragment or split the packets. Hping3 -h. So capital F is actually setting up the flag, fin flag. So capital F option is setting a fin flag, but we are using small f, which is actually splitting the packets or fragmentation, frag or split the packets. So may pass weak ACLs, access control list. If our machine 2000 server has a weak ACL, then we can successfully send the TCP packets. Okay, so let me type the command hping-f or frag 192.168.29.14, which is the target machine, and hit enter. So since no flag set, we are not getting the responses. Control C, and let me set sin flag over here. So we are not getting the replies. So we are unable to bypass the firewall, or we are unable to bypass access control list. So access control list might be strong. So let me try once again on a specific port. Instead of sending a SYN packet, let me send a TCP packet for a specific port. Say for example port 80, as you can see over here. Let me hit enter. Still we are unable to send the packets. Let me repeat the command. No. So ACL might be really strong. So let me try this on an external IP address like INSECTECHS.in website, whether I can bypass the filters, ACL filters. So as you can see, I was unable to send TCP packets on port 80 to my target machine, which is 192.168. Oh sorry, this is 114. So I was making a mistake. So using Hping tool and option frag, that is -f, I can send packets to INSECTECHS.in on port 80. So let me try it once again on 14, not 114, and as you can see the firewall is up and running. So let me hit enter. Now as you can see, I am able to bypass the firewall using F option or a frag option on port 80. Control C. So you can analyze these packets. I am just running a Wireshark only to see what is happening, and I have no intention to dissect each and every packet to see what is going on. And if we come to the Hping tool over here, we were able to send TCP packets successfully on port 80, IP address 192.4. As you can see, we are sending from our IP address to port 14, and these are all the TCP packets, and port 443, and since port 443 is also open, we are able to get replies from source port 443 and SYN ACK is set. Okay, so let me hit Ctrl C, sudo Hping3 frag target IP address and port, that is a destination port from our machine, and when we set SYN flag, we can perform IDS or firewall evasion tactics. Okay, so this is called as a fragmentation attack, where attack will be fragmented across the multiple packets to evade these firewalls or access control lists, and these packets will be reassembled at the target machine. In this case it is 192.168.29.14, and we can actually send some malwares like data with malware content in it, so that this attack can be effective against older firewalls. Okay, this attack, now I am going to send some data. This might not be successful in 2019 server, but in old server it is possible. We can send malware within a data using fragmentation attack techniques, and the command is the same command, hping3-f, that is frag target IP address on a specific port, in this case port 80, and let the data could be D, and the data option is D, and we are sending 10 bytes, and E option is to mention the file name. Say for example, let me remove this and type pwd, ls. So these are all the files. So as you can see, kk.txt, cat kk.txt, hi, how are you? So this is the content within the file, but you don't know there could be a malware written inside this file. Okay, kk.txt. So now let me repeat the command, port 80 with the data 20 bytes and -e root home kalikiran kk.txt. Now let me hit enter. This is for demonstration purpose only. This command is correct, but it is not going to work on 2019 server. Okay, so no such file or directory, can't disable memory paging. Anyway, we have some warnings. Let me hit Ctrl C and let me send a SYN packet. So as you can see, I am able to successfully send data to target machine 192.168.29.14. Let me refresh this. Anyway, that is not actually a malware file, that is just a simple file. So Control C. So Hping can intercept and capture the operating system sequence numbers. So based on the sequence numbers, packets are attached or reassembled at the destination point or a destination server. So we can capture this sequence number using option Q. So the option is Q, sequence numbers, show only TCP sequence numbers. So let me type sudo Hping3 Q. So target machine could be like INSECTECHS.in, and let me send SYN packets on port 80 for example. And as you can see, these are all the sequence numbers that we are able to capture for man in the middle attacks. So let me hit Ctrl C. Now one of the features of Hping is also to tell how long your target server is up and running, because whenever you do patches or for vulnerabilities, means when you close the vulnerability and do a system updates or patches, you will need to restart your servers to apply the patches correctly. Okay, so if you find your target machine is running since very long time, like since 2 years or 3 years, it means that there are no patches installed or your server might not be rebooted since that time. So old vulnerabilities can still exist in your target machine. Using the timestamp option in Hping, you can find out how long the server is up and running. So option is sudo So let me clear the screen. Clear sudo hping3, then TCP timestamp. Let me hit H. So where is TCP timestamp? So this is the option, TCP timestamp. Copy, sudo TCP timestamp. Let me send the SYN packets and INSECTECHS.in. So let me take the external, not our Windows 2019 server. So let me take target as INSECTECHS.in and let me use port number 80 and hit enter. As you can see, system seems to be running 19 days 17 hours and 23 minutes 45 seconds. Okay, so it might be last rebooted 19 days ago. Let me hit Ctrl C and let me try on different websites. Lonefin.in. So no response. Yes, we got a response. It's 16 days. Ctrl C. So you keep testing on different websites like ecouncil.org. It's 45 days since it was last rebooted, I guess, and so on. So you can use TCP timestamp option in order to find out how long this server is up and running. Now let me use a flood option to flood a target network or to send a large amount of data packets to a target IP address. Sudo hping3. Now as you can see the option over here, flood, send packets as fast as possible and don't show replies. So let me turn the Wireshark on. Actually Wireshark is not needed, so let me use directly the command hping3 flood and let me type insectechs.in. So I'm targeting my IP at my website. Okay, and let me hit enter, and as you can see, no flag set, no replies will be shown. So let me wait for some time and see how many packets we have sent in this small amount of time. Let me hit Ctrl C. So just in within almost about 10-15 seconds that I have briefed you, I have sent 58,054 packets. Okay, so this is actually flooding a target, actually network. Even though you are targeting a domain name, but it is a part of a network, so we are actually sending large amount of packets to insectechs.in in a very short period of time. And if we use a data command like say for example d data, and if we mention size like for example 1000 bytes, then it is called as a DOS attack, or let me say 10,000. Now let me start the Wireshark. Start, and let me hit enter. Sorry, hit enter. As you can see, I am sending large amount of data from my IP address 10.0.2.15. I have just changed the network adapter, so the IP is changed from 192.168.29.4 to different network adapter, that is 10.2.5.15 is my current IP address. Okay, so let me hit Ctrl C. So we have sent 26,000 packets. And for your practice, if you change the IP address from domain name insectechs.in to your, for example, a router IP, for example 192.168.29.1, it will definitely do a DDoS attack on your router, and your router will not able to serve internet for you. Just use this command and change insectechs.in domain name to your own router IP. So that is actually a DOS attacks. So we can learn more about DOS and DDoS attacks in DOS attacks chapter in the later part of this course. So that's it in this class, guys. Have a great day. Thank you for watching the video and do